Alrighty, guys. What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday, September 29th. I hope everyone is having a fantastic evening, kind of winding down the weekend. I mean, dude, it's already over. It flies by too quickly. But what's up, everybody? Hope everyone's doing good. Let's go ahead and jump on into it. We got some more information on this upcoming system here. But first of all, let's go ahead and give a warm welcome to people. We have, let's see here. We have Peach, we have SPC, we have Ben, we have Corbin, we got ourselves Tabletop, we have TV9, we have, let's see here, Christianas, we have Raka, we have Isaac, we have Ponderosa, Anna, Lori, Lady B, Kyle, and Susie. What's up, guys? Hope everyone's doing good. What's up, Kyle? Hello from the UK. What's up, man? Hello from the States. Let's see. Good evening, lady. Let's see. Lori says, oh gosh, we don't need another one here in the Big Bend area, just the beginning to clean up everything. Oh yeah, it's going to take a while. It is going to take a while for things to clean up. But anyways, my friends, well, we got some new model runs. I told you guys earlier we would go live in order to look at those new runs and stuff like that. So we're going to go ahead and hop over here to the models. We have the 18 Zulu GFS run here now available to us. Earlier we were live whenever the 12 Zulu was out. Just a bit of a recap from what the 12 Zulu GFS suggested, showing that storm. By the way, you guys can see the time in the top right. If you look up there, it shows October 1st. That's kind of when the models are suggesting the storm to kind of really start coming together here, is kind of right around the, right around the 1st or so. We work our way into the 2nd, and by then the storm is out there along the Western Caribbean. And then, like we mentioned, as we approach our way into the 3rd, that's when that low is going to kind of squeeze between the eastern side of the Yucatan Peninsula and western Cuba. Then working its way up here into the Gulf, right around October 4th, 5th, and 6th. Now, take these models lightly because, there still is a lot of, disagreement and stuff like that. There still is a lot of things that we need to kind of work out here. But the 12 Zulu GFS showed that storm kind of going up near the panhandle of Florida, maybe as a tropical storm, and then kind of rolling its way to the northwest. Kind of did a little bit of a funky track on that last run. Now we have the 18 Zulu GFS, which is the most brand new, kind of showing the same thing, but you can see here that the latest model actually has that system kind of going, instead of towards the panhandle, kind of going near Tampa Bay. So obviously not that strong of a cyclone. I mean, the pressure is down in the upper 990s, which that would be maybe a depression, maybe a tropical storm. But, remember, the intensity is still not known yet either. It could be, a hurricane. It could be just a tropical storm or a tropical depression. We still kind of need to work that out, as well as the track. But you can obviously see with the newest model, it looks like that, we could actually go a little bit further east. So what I do want you guys to know is that the models are still continuing to show this system kind of ending up somewhere along the eastern Gulf. Now, more than likely, from what the models have been saying, the western Gulf will probably stay mostly fine from the storm here. Things can still change, but, the reason I say that is because, the models, they've been kind of trending, going from the Caribbean, going maybe towards the central Gulf here, and then maybe turning a bit to the eastern Gulf. That seems to be the most common track, the most common theme here with the models, over the last several runs and several models themselves. Seems to be like that is the best scenario. But remember, things can still change. We're still in the realm of things being able to change here. We're still a good 6-7 days away. So there's obviously, a bit of things that could easily still change. But anyways, so we are going to be seeing a frontal system. Now, that could be very beneficial to my folks who live along the western Gulf because whenever that comes to it, that could actually steer the storm eastward. So we're going to be seeing this cold front rolling through. So the storm's going to be kind of creeping through the Caribbean, going up here towards the Gulf. And that cold front could actually shift the storm here a bit to, maybe the northeast, maybe more to the east. That cold front could be directly responsible for a sharp turn in the storm in the late forecast. So that seems quite possible. It really does. That does seem quite possible here. The models, like I mentioned, they're still kind of a little all over the place here. So we'll have to, continue monitoring that. Oh, let's see here. Hello from Tampa, Florida. What's up, Samuel? Hope you're doing good. What's up, Jason from Salt Lake City? Hope you're doing good, man. Having a good day, Andrew, says Isaac. I am having a pretty good day. Let's see. Austin says, hey, bro, everything looking okay? So, yeah, there's no reason to panic, no reason to, completely worry about the storm here yet. It's still very much unknown. There still is a lot to the storm we don't know. It absolutely should be monitored. Everybody needs to watch it, but like I mentioned, there's no need for fear, no need for any of that. Once again, this thing is still very much unknown of what it's going to do, how strong it's going to be, where it's going to go, how big it's going to be. In terms of the size of the storm. I mean, that they all play an important factor. And unfortunately, the models just aren't yet to the point where they agree on what it could happen. The models are, like I mentioned, kind of really all over the place here. And they kind of have been. I mean, even the previous model runs are still pretty all over the place. I mean, here's the GFS, the 18 Zulu, showing that storm end up near the Tampa Bay. And then, of course, we have the previous run showing it near, like, the Western Panhandle. So there's obviously still a bit of unknown and uncertainty regarding its track, regarding its strength and everything like that. There's still a lot that needs to be ironed out here overall. What's up, Kate? Hope you're doing good. Let's see here. Where do I think the new storm will go? I think it'll probably stay within the Central and Eastern Gulf. It seems to be the most likely scenario. It seems to be that's what the models have been kind of talking about overall. Oh my goodness, we got 2 super chats coming in here. Holy cow. All right, Jason, thank you so much, man, for the 5. Appreciate it. Saying hello. When is fall coming to Salt Lake City? Best weather show on the tube. Thank you so much, Jason. I appreciate that. Let's see, Ghost, I'll get to you here in a second. Thank you so much, dude. That's greatly appreciated. So Jason, once again, thank you for the 5, man. So when is fall going to start in Salt Lake City? Well, I mean, as you know, we've already finally rolled our way into fall here. The weather out west here, let's go and hop over here to the models. The weather out west is kind of been interesting. I mean, obviously, not a whole lot has been going on out there, within the last little bit. A lot of the action has been kind of along the southeastern U.S. Overall. But, honestly, like I mentioned, we are going to start cooling down at some point here soon, because we're rolling into October. That's usually when things can start to cool down quite a bit. So it'll be happening here very, very soon. But once again, Jason, I appreciate that, man. Thank you, dude, for the 5. Seriously, it means a lot to me. Now, Ghost, I think that's how you say your name. Thank you so much, dude, for the $10 super chat saying support for the content and the creator. Thank you so much, dude. Seriously, guys, that means a lot to me. I really deeply appreciate your support. So Jason and Ghost, thank you so much, guys. Greatly, greatly appreciated. You all are awesome. Seriously, I really do appreciate it a lot. Let's see. It's a nice, crisp 82 degrees here in Tampa. I'm relaxing in my 101-degree spa listening to you. That must be nice. Lucky. What's up, Black Bear? Saying hi. NWW hi. Wanted to tell you, you mean your boss, I guess, said 4 storms coming from the ocean. There is a lot of storms, actually. Yes. Here, let's go ahead and hop over here to the main view here. So obviously we got this big old area. This is the one that we're watching. This one, so the new update just came out at 8 o'clock, I think. So the way it's going now, throughout the next 7 days, throughout the next week, we have a 50% chance of development. That's kind of stayed, where it's at throughout the day. Wouldn't be surprised if that continues to increase, over the next couple of days. And you notice how it says today was a 0%. We're not expecting the storm to develop into anything throughout the next 2 days. So throughout the next, 1-2 days or so, 48 hours, we're not expecting the storm to really do anything. However, over the next 7 days, it has, 50, kind of a 50-50 shot right now. But that is an increasing probability. That has been going up quite a bit. And the models are still continuing to support the system. So we'll definitely still need to watch it. But anyways, we got a new storm that has just developed. We now have a new tropical depression. This is Tropical Depression 12, currently sustained at 35, gusts up to 45. She will become a tropical storm here actually by next update. So this is showing right around 2 a.m. here for tomorrow, the 30th. Storm will be likely transitioning into a tropical storm. Now, here's the thing, y'all. This thing has potential to be a major hurricane. This storm, now the good news about it is that it's going to be kind of kind of kicking out to sea for the most part. I don't think there's going to be any hazards on this system here. But, it is certainly a possibility that, this system could actually become a major hurricane. Hurricane Center has this thing here for the 4th, potentially getting up to sustained of 120 with gusts up to 150. That would put us in, like I said, kind of, what was that? That would be kind of mid-end, maybe low-end category 3. Once we hit that 130 threshold or greater, that's when it becomes Cat 4. But yeah, this thing could be a major hurricane here, according to the Hurricane Center. So we're going to see a gradual westward movement. Then we're going to see this thing move to the northwest. It's going to kind of change its track here on the 1st, kind of right around the afternoon of the 1st. That's when we're going to start to kind of turn to the northwest rather than completely west, basically. But, like I mentioned before, that storm doesn't seem to be much of an issue. We still got Isaac up here too. This is another storm that's going on. It just got downgraded to a tropical storm. Actually, it was a hurricane earlier. This one's just kind of go up towards the Arctic Circle. Not really going to be much of an issue there either. Then of course we have Joyce, which Joyce is about to be downgraded into a depression. So this is kind of its last little shot at tropical status or tropical storm status before it's going to be downgraded by likely next update. So this is going to be the last time we probably see Joyce as a tropical storm. Then you might notice we got another area. Actually, they just updated that probability. Holy cow. Okay, so not only do we have that new depression just form, but we have another system that's actually set to kind of roll west of Africa. Now, I was watching the models. Some of the models suggest this one being kind of a west mover. Let's actually go ahead and hop over to the models here. We're going to look at the GFS in the latest run. So if we hop over here to the North Atlantic, so we have, first of all, let's go ahead and backtrack here. So this is Joyce. That's Joyce up there. That is Isaac over here. That is that other depression that just formed here. So as we work our way down in time, first of all, that depression, like I said, has a good shot at becoming a major hurricane. But then there's that second area that we were just looking at there from the Hurricane Center. As we work our way down in time, actually, you know what? That is a big trend. Never mind. That's a big old change. So there's obviously still a bit of uncertainty here. The latest GFS actually wants this thing now to pull up to the north here overall. It seems like these guys might just be fish storms. I mean, obviously, the further you go out, the more inaccurate things tend to get here. But you know what? That is certainly... Actually, you know what? That's the 12 Zulu here. Let's go 18 Zulu. Yeah, kind of showing the same exact thing here overall. But, there's a really good shot that new depression that just formed that could certainly become a major hurricane. And like I mentioned, Hurricane Center has that thing getting up to, like, Category 3 status. Now, in regarding to that other system heading towards the Caribbean and the Gulf here, the latest GFS has that thing kind of going near Tampa-ish. Remember, that's far from final. Once again, that's one model. That's one model run there, too. The previous model run shows it up there towards the Panhandle, while the latest one kind of shows it up there towards, like, Tampa. So still kind of keeping it within the realm of Florida being a possibility. Now, that once again, that's not final. That is not 100% at this point, but it certainly is. Certainly is something that we still need to monitor pretty closely. Let's see. We got Euro. This is the 12 Zulu. The 12 Zulu Euro model, showing that thing. Maybe more towards a depression status. Relatively nothing super crazy. It could be a lot of rain though, according to Euro here. Right around maybe October 7th. Take that with a grain of salt. But still ultimately ends that low. That low ultimately ends up towards Florida potentially. So that's something that we need to look out there for. Once again, Florida needs to monitor this. I really want the central and the eastern Gulf Coast to be monitoring this storm here for the next several days. Once again, models are still all over the place regarding its track, regarding its strength, and regarding its size. All the models are just still all over the place here at the moment. So let's see. Do I think it'll be a hurricane? So there is a couple models that do suggest the storm, getting near hurricane status. However, I would say majority of the models right now are kind of showing the thing maybe be more towards a tropical storm. But remember that this is ever so changing. I mean, some of the runs that we had for the 12 Zulu showed that system, maybe being maybe towards like tropical storm status, or maybe towards hurricane status. And then, in the latest run, it shows that the strength being completely different. So it's like the models are still fluctuating, in regarding to its strength and regarding to its track. They're still kind of really all over the place here. Let's see here. What's up, Ragtie? Hope you're doing good, man. Saying always great, easy to understand info on your channel. Thank you. You're very welcome. I try to make it as simplified as much as I can. But I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Let's see. Tabletop says, do you think this could be a worry to North Carolina? No. Tabletop, don't worry about it, man. I know how much you don't like your storms. I would not be concerned up in North Carolina. And like I said, nobody needs to be worrying about this storm right now. It's just something to monitor. It's just something to watch. This storm could be a dud. There is a shot that this storm could just be a dud in general and not really do a whole lot, maybe just a little bit of rain. That is a possibility, and I want to keep that in mind. So try not to worry about it too much. Try not to panic over the storm here, because I can get it. Some of the news outlets can really hype this thing up to sound like another big storm. But from what I'm seeing now, it really, I honestly don't think this thing is going to get nearly as strong as like Helene did. So try not to worry that much. Like I mentioned, what you got to do now is just watch it over the next couple days. Like I mentioned, if you live along the kind of central and eastern Gulf Coast, I would consider just watching the system over the next couple of days. We're going to continue to provide you guys updates. So if you haven't already, consider subscribing, by the way. That way you guys can stay on top of this and you guys can stay weather aware. There is still a lot of things here, that we need to monitor overall. But really, you guys along the Gulf Coast, just keep an eye out there for. Continue on with your daily lives, like I always say. There's no reason, for full-on preparations right now, due to the fact of we don't know where it's going to fully go yet, or how strong it's going to, be. But what we do know is the fact that the models have been talking about this for days at this point. Not just one model, but literally like a lot of the main models have been talking about this system for days at this point. Continuously showing that there, could be a really good shot at, this thing developing into a tropical system. And the models really have seemed to kind of, nail down that the storm, is going to start out there kind of towards the, the Caribbean here for right around the 1st or so. Here, let's go ahead and backtrack a little bit. We're gonna hop over here to the let's see. We're gonna hop to those members, the ensembles here. So as we approach, right, you guys can see the time in the top right, by the way. So as we approach like towards October 1st, maybe October 2nd, the storm kind of starts to kick up here. And all those little members kind of roll their way up there towards that little inlet for right around the 3rd and 4th. And then, of course, you can see once we approach towards like the 4th and 5th, we start to get a lot of those little members there. And they actually kind of, roll their way here to the east, you guys can see. These little members here, it's kind of hard to tell, but, they are moving eastward, kind of towards towards the direction of Florida. Then you notice all of that. That is, that's going to be the next storm. I think that's Kirk, right? If I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so that is kind of what we're dealing with. So that's just another storm. That one, has a good shot at just being a fish storm. So try not to worry about that. I mean, we'll keep an eye on it. It has a shot at becoming a major hurricane. Not the one in the Gulf. Not the one in the Gulf in the Caribbean. Don't let that get the. But no, the one I'm talking about that could become a major hurricane is this one. The one that's going to be kind of pushed out to sea. Just want to make sure I say that, just so I don't put any confusion to you guys. I don't want to make it sound like the one in the Caribbean is going to be the one that could see Cat 3. But no, Hurricane Center, they did put major hurricane status by the end of the forecast track. So that storm could be a major hurricane. But anyways, yeah, the one up here towards the Caribbean, the one that we're really watching, it's just still all over the place, man. I mean, it's just still too early to know what it's going to do, how strong it's going to be, where it's going to go, how big it's going to be. There's just so much factors. There's so many moving parts, in this here. Obviously, we can't go too far out in the models because the more further you go out in the models, the more inaccurate they get. But you can kind of see there that the members, they kind of start up here in the Caribbean and they work their way up here to the Gulf, and then they kind of shoot their way here to the east. And the reason is because we're going to have that frontal system, as you can kind of see, push through. Building high pressure ridge will be coming throughout the kind of Midwest and the Central Plains, which will kind of knock that storm away from the Western Gulf, which could arc the storm maybe more towards the the central or the eastern side of the Gulf here. It just depends on how strong that how strong that cold front is. Well, how strong that system is in general, where it's positioned, how fast it's moving. There's a lot of factors. Once again, a lot of moving parts that's with this here. But you can actually see that those little members there, they do seem to be kind of arcing towards the eastern Gulf here. Overall, so that's certainly something to look out for. Carrie says, "Hit the like, please." I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Let's see. I imagine I imagine Helene gobbled up a bit of the hurricane juice, quote unquote. So the waters aren't really affected from Helene, believe it or not. Maybe a degree or so. We were looking at the sea surface temperatures earlier, which go and pull up again. Now, obviously, remember, it's not just reliant on sea surface temperatures, but, it really wasn't affected too much. I mean, as you can see, we are still in really warm waters out here. I mean, where Helene hit, which was in, the Eastern Gulf, of course, it's still 29, 30 degrees Celsius out there. That is still very much suitable for tropical development. Now, like I mentioned, it doesn't just rely on that, of course. There's other factors such as wind shear and moisture. The good news is that this storm here has a lot less moisture than Helene did. That could be good, meaning that the storm might not get as strong as, for one, but also not as big as well. So if we take a look here at the humidity throughout the atmosphere, you can kind of see this greenish blue color. This is representing a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, and the brownish tan, that's kind of representing a lot of drier air in the atmosphere. So obviously, you can see in the past we had, Helene happen. Let's see here. So then, of course, we go into the current time, which is now. Then, of course, you can kind of see that system starting to develop. There's a bit of moisture out there, indicated in that bluish green color. This pulls its way here to the north. Now, there might even be a little bit of dry air on that western side. That's probably why the GFS doesn't have that storm really kicking off, because that dry air there could be a bit of a problem for that storm developing overall. So that could be a major reason why. Then, of course, as we approach our way into the Eastern Gulf, then that's whenever this model really shows it happening, because it still has a good hold of that moisture. It seems like it kind of gets rid of a lot of that dry air once we get to the end of the run here. But if that dry air is substituted for more moisture-filled air, that could mean that the storm develops earlier and could potentially be stronger overall. I think this is just a run. Like I said, this is just one of those runs that you can't really take much from. Because they're still changing a lot. So that's the latest, and in the previous run before that, you can show that the storm was bumped further up to the northwest, but still showing maybe a little bit of dry air included on that system. So it could run into some dry air, which would be good. That could limit its overall strength. That could limit a lot of things on the storm there. Let's go ahead and hop over here a little bit, zoom in a little bit here. So that's the 12 Zulu, and you can see on the bottom side, if we grab a sounding, there's a big space between your green and your red. So your red's your temperature, the green's the dew point. The further your dew point and your temperature are away, the lower the humidity. And you can see on a column, so this is ground level, and this is pressure altitude equivalent. So as we go up, the higher we go up in altitude. So you can see throughout the middle atmosphere, there's a pretty dry spacing there because our dew point line and our temperature line is fairly spaced. That is representing dry air in the atmosphere. Now, meanwhile, if we take a sample over here, you'd notice how close those lines are together. They're like right on top of each other, which is showing saturated environment, an environment with a lot of moisture, and that's kind of what you need around the storm. That way, that the individual thunderstorms that make up the system can fire properly. Now, if you have a lot of dry air, well, first of all, tropical systems just form as a bunch of cluster of thunderstorms, and we need that convection, we need that thunderstorm activity to happen. And if you get a lot of dry air, storms can't form in dry air because it just can't. So that's kind of what it comes down to. So dry air could be an issue. That dry air could be an issue, but the model, it does seem like, we're going to be having at least a little pocket of, a good amount of moisture. Certainly not as much as Helene had, like I mentioned. Helene had a big load of moisture. If you guys remember, like a lot of the Caribbean was just filled with moisture, like really deep moisture. That's why the storm was really able to grow in its size. That's why it was such a big storm, because it had a lot of moisture associated with it. And that's why I was able to really kick off. But with this system, that's a little bit different. While the sea surface temperatures are still very much warm for, if the other conditions were right, there could still be some really quick development. But since we have more drier air on the storm here, that could mean that we could have some limited development, as well as possibly a smaller storm on our hands. We'll have to see. Once again, it's still up for grabs. I mean, we're still a week out, basically, so there's still a lot of things that's going to change over the next several days. And, what we just got to get out of it right now is just monitor it, just watch it. Right now there's no need for full-on preparations or anything like that because, we do not know where it's going to go. We don't know how strong it's going to be. That is still unknown at this point, but just know the storm could be heavily limited by the amount of dry air that could get into it. So that certainly could be some good news, but we'll continue watching it. Let's see here. Sherry says, good to see you tonight. You too, Sherry. Thanks for joining. Let's see. Katrina was nothing compared to... Katrina, they are both bad storms, man. Helene definitely hit hard, though, too. Let's see. Samuel says, I love how everyone says heading to Florida, then people in New York City are like, you think it could come to us? I mean, people don't know, man. It's good. It's good that people ask questions. No question is a dumb question. I get it. People are concerned, and, that's why we're here to, straighten things out for you guys. Now, like I mentioned, this storm has a good shot at ending up on the eastern side of the Gulf, due to the fact that we're going to be having a frontal system roll through, building in high-pressure ridge behind a cold front associated, which that's going to allow the storm to potentially steer and maybe keep it towards the east, which, once again, could put Florida in concern, or could go a little bit more to the north, maybe up there towards like Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama's coast. Those areas just in general we need to watch out here. There still is a lot of uncertainty with the models, but it wouldn't hurt to monitor across Texas too. Because these storms, there's still a lot of moving parts here, and there's still a lot of things we need to learn. But, just along the Gulf Coast, just monitor it, and that's really all you need to do right now. So subscribe to the channel, leave a like, turn on notifications. That way, when we do go live, you guys can get these updates, and we'll let you guys know what the latest is, happening here. Let's see. What's the chance of it going to Fort Myers? So, like I mentioned, overall, the odds, the odds of where it's going to end up, well, we pretty much don't really know. Due to the fact that there's still so much disagreement in the system as a whole. They all talk about the system, saying, yeah, the system's going to happen, but all of them kind of have their own little opinion, saying, no, this one's going to go here, this one's going to be this strong, while another model's like, no, this is going to be this strong and it's going to go here. So, the models are still fighting right now, trying to determine on where the thing's going to go. And as you imagine, as we get closer to the event, the more that we learn about the system. Not to mention, once that system starts to develop, we can monitor its behavior. And then, of course, if it needs to be, we can send the hurricane hunters out to do those drop SON data points where they have these cylindrical tubes that they drop around the storm and in the storm to measure its credentials and to measure its vitals, basically. So, and then we take that information, then we plug those into like the hurricane models, like the HWRF, the HMON, if needed. But that only happens once it becomes like an investigation, which right now it's just a disturbance. So it all starts out as a disturbance from a tropical wave that rolls through. Then it turns into an invest, which, that would be the next step. If it becomes an invest, then that's whenever those, hurricane hunters could be deployed. That's whenever the hurricane models start to run. And then, of course, we have, so from invest, then we have either potential tropical cyclone or tropical depression that develops. And then from there, tropical storm, then hurricane. If, like I said, we're still not sure if this thing will even be a hurricane at this point. It still is a little more very much unknown right now. There is some models that do support it, and they have been supporting hurricane status, but there's also a lot of models that suggest less, and maybe depression or storm status. There still is a lot, of disagreement. And like I mentioned, there still is a really good possibility that this could just be a rainstorm. I mean, let's be real. That is a possibility. But is it known? Is it known for sure? No, absolutely not. It could be a decent storm, or it could be just a rainstorm. Like I mentioned, there's a lot of unknowns. Let's see here. When will we have more accurate tracks? So obviously, the closer we get to the event, the more. But when forecasting hurricanes, on average, I've noticed we start to get a good agreement about 3, maybe 4 days before the event happens, before it hits or whatever. That's when you start to get better traction. Right now we're about 7 days out, so we still have a lot of time, for preparing for watching the storm here. Let's see. Could this hit south of Tampa, and what category do I think it could be? So, Florida is a possible outcome regarding where the system ends up. Yes, it is possible. And, of course, with the strength, some of the models suggest the storm, just being maybe a depression, maybe being a storm. Once again, the spectrum is still very broad, regarding, the models. Some of the models show it being a hurricane, while others show it just being a depression with just a bit of rain. It's like there's so much. There's just so much that so much difference still between those models. Let's see. Watch the dry air fizzle. So if the dry air tends to be not as strong as expected, that couldn't make the storm a bit more stronger. So, like I mentioned, we're just going to need to watch it. And really all we can do right now is just watch. That's what I want you guys to do. Just keep an eye on the tropics. Just keep on watching the system here for the next, several days here. And, like I mentioned, if it becomes a problem, if it becomes, an area that we need to watch, heavily, then, like I said, we'll watch it. But, so once again, it's just too early to tell. But I do want my folks along the Gulf Coast, both west to east, to keep on watching the storm. But like I mentioned, there's no need for full-on preparations right now because of the unknowns, regarding where it's going to go and regarding how strong it's going to be. Now, I will say this. It is always good to have a supply of items like during hurricane season. So, it wouldn't hurt to make sure you guys just have water, non-perishable foods always on hand. That way if, system did happen, you'd be set. It's always best to prepare as early as you can, Let's see here. Samuel says, I know. I guess I've just been watching y'all, learning so much. I hope you're learning a lot about, these systems and stuff like that. I'm not the best teacher, but, I sure do try my best to explain things as best as I can. Absolutely. Stargazer says, be prepared. Don't take these storms as a joke. I didn't take the storm as a joke that just hit, and I didn't expect this. Plenty of water. Absolutely. Yeah. So, while it's not needed to completely raid all these, grocery stores, it's not needed, no. It's always good, along those tropical areas. So, along the Gulf Coast and, along the coastal areas, it's always good to have a surplus, a supply. Always at hand. It's always good. Let's see. But anyways, so Hayden says probably gonna dissipate. The models have still been fairly consistent on the storm happening. That's, like I said, that's why we've been talking about this thing so much. Because the models are still on board with something happening. Of course, some models more extreme than others, like I mentioned. But, the overall verdict is that, the models, they are talking about it. They're talking about it. So here's the, this is the GEPS ensembles here. And you can see as we approach our way into October 1st, it's on the top right. You guys can see the time there. This is, once again, the GEPS model. So the GEPS, shows that system developing, right around the 1st, maybe the 2nd, working its way up there right around the 3rd towards that inlet of the Yucatan Peninsula and western Cuba. And then, of course, as we approach our way into the 4th, the late 3rd into the 4th, we start to track our way into the Gulf here. And then you can see as we approach like the 5th, the storm starts moving a bit to the east. Some of those ensembles, work their way over Florida, as you can kind of tell. Some of the ensembles go right over Florida, some of them more delayed than others. So, those individual members, there's a good handful of them that, supports this thing, going towards the region, of Florida. So we'll have to watch it. Do I think this is the peak of the season, or will it get slightly worse? I think, statistically, we are already at peak hurricane season. We actually... the peak hurricane season is actually the second week of September. Now, we're in the end of September. We're still high up on the ladder, though. Absolutely. Now, regarding, is this how... right now, is this going to be the peak? There's no way of knowing for sure, but it is... things are picking up. I will say that. Things are definitely picking up. Let's see here. NHC updates their disturbance map, Eastern Time, 8 a.m/p.m., 2 a.m/p.m. Yeah, they do it every, every 3 hours, I think. I think they do it at 8 p.m., 11 p.m., 2 a.m., 5 a.m., 8 a.m., 11 a.m., 2 p.m., 5 p.m., 8 p.m., and then 11 p.m. Yeah, those are all the times that they update it. But they usually update it, 8 times a day, right? Is that right? Every 3 hours? Huh. Anyways. But yeah, we just got an update here about an hour ago. So, and like I mentioned, the latest update here has kept the same probability. We're still at a 50% chance overall formation here. So that is that. And of course, like I mentioned, we have a new storm that's getting ready to turn into a system here, getting ready to be named here. By next update tomorrow, the storm will likely be a named storm. And then on top of that, we got another invest right there. This, we have a lot of activity right here. We have Joyce that's going through. What is this one going to be? Kirk, this next one. And then, of course, we have this other disturbance that we need to watch as well. This one actually has a 50% chance. I believe it had a 20% chance this morning, if I'm not mistaken. So that's flying up in terms of development chance. So, and that even has a 10% chance in the next 48 hours. Still very much unlikely, but it's growing. It's growing. So we'll definitely need to be looking out there for that. Let's see here. So yeah, we don't have any invests out there yet. So this is not an invest. This is still just a disturbance. Let's see here. Stargazer says, geez, no more, please. I know, man. There's just so much activity going on now. And then we got the EPAC. We got a few storms out here in EPAC that we're watching too, which we're mostly focusing but on the Atlantic. And, of course, we got this guy up here. This is Isaac. Isaac's not an issue for anybody, really. It's a tropical storm, and it's going to go post-tropical here within the next, the next day or so. Then, of course, rolling its way up here into the Arctic. Joyce says, always thrilling when a storm has your name. Well, I'm Andrew, so I was Hurricane Andrew. But yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, no, Joyce though isn't an issue. Joyce really doesn't seem to be a problem at all for really anybody. But so you're good. You're good. Which that means that Joyce will be reused at some point, more than likely. It will be reused. Now, it'll probably take several years before Joyce is reused. But, since it's not an issue, I think you're good. I think you're good. Let's see. Samuel says there's such a fish storm. Yeah. So that's the thing, between Joyce as well as the new one. Like, I think the name is Kirk. Somebody said it was Kirk. Then we have Leslie. Leslie is going to be the next storm after. So, no, actually, Kirk is the next one. That's going to be this guy. We're going to have Kirk tonight or tomorrow morning there. And then we're going to have Leslie, which is going to be the one that, potentially could be Leslie, the one that could develop here towards, the Caribbean and the Gulf. So that would be Leslie. Well, I mean, honestly, it'll be a battle between this one here and this one here. Matter of fact, this guy, now that I think about it, this one might actually be Leslie. Because the models kind of showed this thing developing a little bit faster, now that I think about it. So what would that make that storm? Here, let's pull up the 25. Let's see your hurricane season name. So we have Kirk. That's going to be the next one. Let's see here. Oh, did I do 25? Whoops. We're not in 25. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. Here we go. So here's a 24 season name. So we've already had Alberto Barrel, Chris, Debbie, Ernesto, Francine, Gordon, Helene, Isaac. We have Joyce. The next one is going to be Kirk. So this one here, this depression right now, depression 12. This is going to be Kirk, and that'll be Kirk probably tonight or tomorrow morning. Then, of course, we have Leslie, which will probably be this one here. They both have 50% chance of development in 7 days, but this one's kind of ahead of the ball here. This one even has a slight development chance in the next 48 hours. Very low, but so, that's probably going to be Leslie. Then, of course, we have, after that, would be Milton. So, the one out here in the Caribbean and Gulf, this one will probably be Milton. So, we'll see. Let's see, that isn't a tropical storm yet. Yeah, no, it's not. Kirk, the next one to develop, will be a tropical storm tonight or tomorrow. Let's see, by 2 a.m. it shows this thing being a tropical storm. This would be Kirk, so that's the next storm. See, what's that off the east coast of Florida? What the west coast of Florida? This is an area we're watching. This is the one we've been paying attention to. Let's see here. A solar battery bank comes in. Yeah, it can be, absolutely. Or just having a generator on standby. It's always a good thing. But anyways, folks. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're standing with everything. There's really not a whole lot more we can really talk about. I will pull up the ECENS ensembles, and if you guys have any questions, go ahead and throw them down in the chat here. Like I mentioned, it's just still a little early. Models aren't really in full agreement yet. Like regarding this system here, so there's there still is a lot of unknown. Whenever it comes to the system here, so. It just needs monitoring, and you guys along the Gulf Coast should absolutely monitor this thing. So here's the latest ECENS ensembles. We work our way down in time. You can see that system kind of go through, and then you can start to see some of them go to the east here. that is because of that cold front that's going to be rolling through here. So it's going to go up here, and then it's going to shift its way possibly to the really far to the east, or slightly to the northeast. So that could mean that Florida could be impacted, or somewhere along the north central Gulf Coast or the eastern Gulf Coast. It's still unknown to be for sure. So we'll keep you posted. But anyways, see, what does invest mean, and what do the numbers after mean 99L? So that's just a number to identify a storm. And invest is whenever the storm needs investigation. So at that point, that's when the hurricane models start to run. That's when the hurricane hunters start to consider going in the storm and stuff like that. So generators take a lot of gas. Gas is an issue when let's see. Oh, true. Yeah, I mean, it can be expensive with gas, especially. Absolutely. I do see that. So, but anyways, so that's that, my friends. Just wanted to go live here for a little bit with y'all. If y'all have any questions before I wrap things up here, go ahead and throw them down in the chat. If you haven't already, consider subscribing. Be greatly appreciated. We'll continue to keep you guys informed and updated. Once again, I appreciate y'all hanging out here with us. Overall, I want to say this. There might be a chance I go live this evening again. Not on this platform, but I might go live on my YouTube Shorts here in a little bit. So we'll see. So whenever that 11 o'clock update comes out, I will probably maybe I might do a YouTube Short live stream. So that's that. Let's see. Andrew is flexing that he's a beast of a hurricane. Yeah, I wasn't alive during Andrew. I was -10. Yeah, because Andrew is 92. I was in 02. So, does the Hurricane Hunters have a YouTube channel? I don't know. I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I not that I know of. Not that I know. There could be. I know they have a Twitter account. I know they do that. But I don't know about. I know the Hurricane Center has a YouTube channel, but I'm not sure about the Hurricane Hunters themselves. But alrighty, everybody. Well, that's going to wrap it up for now. If you guys did enjoy that, leave a like, hit that subscribe button. Be greatly appreciated. And, once again, big thank you goes out to Jason and Ghost for the donations today. I appreciate you guys. Once again, thank you for helping keeping us afloat. It's greatly, greatly appreciated. We're getting close to our monthly goal, y'all. We still got a day left. We're getting close, which would be much appreciated. Once again, nobody has to donate here, but it is much appreciated for the people who do. So seriously, thank you all. And tonight, a big shout out goes to Ghost and Jason for the support. Thank you guys, greatly appreciated. But alrighty, everybody. Well, you guys take care. Tabletop. See you tomorrow. See you later, man. You all take care. Have a great rest of your night. See you later, Roadster Jim. We'll catch you all in the next one. See you later, guys. I might go live at 11. Like I said, 11 p.m. tonight for that next update. But it'll be on my YouTube Shorts, which it'll be on this channel, but just in the Shorts format. So overall, do I like snow? Yes, I like snow. It's pretty cool. But I don't have much down here in Florida, unfortunately. But all right, everybody. Well, we're going to wrap it up here. You guys take care. See ya in the next one. See y'all later.